Hello and welcome to another episode of Cyberworld Updates. In this episode, I'm just going to be going over a few changes that we're making to better our grid. Well, first off, saying where I'm at today. Today I'm in the Furry Museum of Art and Culture. It's currently a work in progress. It's a community build. I'm currently at the little bar here. Right here we have a little bar. Behind us we have the welcome area, a few benches, place to sit. Some reference things out here while we're still building. Back there we have the room that has every furry critter that's in the fandom. And still more to come. Like I said, we're still building here. Showing off this little bit before we go on to the other announcements. And I really hope more people want to come and join. This is a free, open community build project. Anyone wants to build, even people with a hypergrid, just come on over. Anything you want to donate, plop it down here near the welcome area. Or if you want to contact me here in World, Timothy Viper. And we'd love to have your help. Anything you want to donate, any help you want to give, it's open community build for anyone and everyone who wants to take part. Moving on to other matters of business, we're going to be enabling people to connect their own regions now, but with a few small exceptions. You have to apply for the ability to do this, and it's still testing phasing right now. We're not really sure we're going to keep this forever, which means at some point we might disconnect it and not allow it. You'll always have to apply for it, because we're not going to allow just anyone to host their region on their home desktop computer, because if you're going to have a region here, we ask that it be up as much as it can possibly be. Meaning, your region shouldn't really be offline more than 4 to 8 hours a month. Due to, let's say, unless there's, a good circumstance, like the place you have your server or hard drive failure or this, that, the other. But we're trying to create a grid, and we are a production grid here. So connecting your region should be of production quality. We also ask that your region, actually be on at least a virtual private server, VPS, or a dedicated server. Or if you are going to be hosting from home, you have a connection that is at least of 10 megabits or higher for your internet connection, and it's on a dedicated machine, and not the same computer that you use as your viewer. This is purely because we are a production grid. We want to make sure that, everyone's experience here is a little lag as possible for our grid. We're not really in the business of making the grid a laggy place. That's one of the biggest reasons we're trying to do here, keeping a lag-free grid. I know nothing's 100% lag-free, but we're going to try and avoid it at all costs. Another thing is we're going to be rolling out our special release for you guys that you have to use to connect to our grid, which will state anytime someone logs into your region, this is a privately hosted sim. And that just lets the people know that you're there in a simulator that is not hosted by the grid itself. It is hosted by you or a private company. Not meaning anyone but not the grid. Well, this is simply for people who are a little nervous or not sure they want to trust these sims. That gives them the options, I want to teleport away. This is nothing against your regions. This is purely for, the security of people's own privacy. We are going to be we understand that this allows a lot of access to our servers doing this, but we feel it's no more greater risk than actually allowing you to hypergrid. As if people are going to maliciously, download your content you plop out on a sandbox somewhere you sit or something, like in another grid you teleport it to. It's no different than doing that here. They still will be downloading it with, the permissions when they download it, they're still going to get all the. It's going to lock in the permissions. If you were to download an OAR or an IAR, the permissions do retain now. It'll still, granted, it might drop the content creator name, but it would still retain no transfer, no copy, no modify if those permissions were set. So even if they were to upload it back up somewhere else, it still retains those permissions. Yes, there's ways to get past that, but it's really, it's just easier, honestly, still to run a copybot viewer, which we will watch. We are watching logins because we see every viewer that comes through our servers. Anytime we see anything that logs in that's, you know, a potential copybot viewer, we do investigate. So honestly, we're not too incredibly worried about this right now. As we said, as we're saying right now, it's just as easy with a copybot viewer. Well, actually a lot easier with a copybot viewer than just downloading directly using an IAR or OAR. As I said, permissions still retain. And the only way to get past those permissions is, you know, there's a long, complicated, not really, it's not an easy process. It's a lot more work than I'm sure a lot of people are willing to go through just for, you know, maybe a shirt or something. And that's why we're considering opening this up. As I said, this is just a testing phase. You can register on our site if you want. Well, you can apply to register on our site if you're interested in connecting your own region. We're open to have hosting companies who host regions for other open grids to apply. If at minimum we don't allow, if at minimum we do close it, you'll still be able to use these hosting companies because we want to allow these hosting companies the ability to connect as well. Any other information about anything or any questions you have about this project, you can just IM me here in World, Timothy Viper, or you can check out on our website for more information. This has just been another Server World update.